Hi, I'm Colin Smith of the Developer Academy. I'm the lead instructor, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about state management using useState and changing the state in React. So we're just going to jump straight into some code here. As you can see, I've got a very basic React app I built with React. I've also put some Bootstrap in there. And I've just put in a couple of extra things. So first of all, I've got an add function, so I can add to the state. And we've also got our couple of other things here. We've got a posts, which is going to be our post because we're creating a social media post, and the add file already has some state management in. So we're going to start there. So the add component has its own state. It manages its own state for what someone's putting in. So we've just got username and post in this case. We've got state here, which is the variable, and cstate is what we use to change the state. And we use this useState function, which is part of React, to set that. And this is the initial value, though. So username and post are empty. Then what we do is each time that we change something on the form, we will update either the username or the post name by calling this change state function, by expanding out the state and passing in the new username or the new post value. And that is referenced by an onChange function here. So each time we change that, it will update the state. And we can see that happening here. So if I just look at my console and look at our components here, we've got our add component. You can see that we've got state of post and username. If I just type in a new username, you can see that that's updating there. A new post, that's there. So, okay, so far so good. So what we're going to do next then is we need to have a look at how we're going to actually add this particular post into a general pool of posts that we're going to hold. So because the posts that we hold will be everywhere in an app, it makes sense to actually have those actually in the app themselves. So I'm going to use the use state here. So I'm going to have another const. I'm going to call this posts, and I'm going to have the change post function, which we're going to define later. And we're going to use state. And just to show you how this works, we're going to have a state with two objects in it. So the first object is going to have an ID of 0. It's going to have the username of me, and it's going to have a post text of hello world, and it's going to have a username of, sorry, not username, a number of likes is going to be 0 to start with. And we're going to have another one just to demonstrate how this works with an ID of 1. And this is going to be Dave. And a little bit salty, so it's going to say hello, whatever. And it's going to have 0 likes for that. In fact, it'll have 3 likes for us and 0 likes for Dave. Okay, save all that. So what we need to do in the first instance is we need to be able to put what's in the state onto the page. Now we're going to have a build rows function or a build post function. So let's just have a build post function. That's going to be a function. That's going to be here. So we're going to call that build posts. What that's going to do, that's going to return a posts.map, which is going to have the item in it, which is going to be, and that is going to be post. We're going to pass through some information on there. So that's going to be item.id. And we're going to have post equals post.post, item.post. We're going to have the number of likes, which is going to be item.likes. And we're also going to have the username. Okay, just save that. Okay, so that's still working, but we've not defined anything in post yet. So let's go do that now. So let's for default function, and this is going to be post, and we're going to pass that props. And here we're just going to return, and we're going to return a div. And let's just put props post in there to start with. You can see got hello, whatever. Great. So back into our code. We know that this is happening, this is working just fine. What we'll need to do is we'll need to create a like button. Now, let's just do that from Bootstrap. So we're going to import button from React Bootstrap button. Not split button. And we're going to call that here. I'm going to have this as the like button. So on click, we want to do something. I'm going to have in here props.like in curly braces. Just wanting to actually to show. Right, so when we click on click, we want to call a function, and that function will be props dot on like, and we're going to pass in the ID for this one. So the onLike function here is something that we need to actually build on. So let's just go back up to our app, and here we're going to have an onLike function. And the onLike function is going to call the like function. And then we're going to build that out here. So function like, it's going to take an ID, as we've seen. And depending on the ID, we need to actually change what's in here. So we're going to, first of all, take a copy of the state. Or let's build it as we go along. So that's going to be posts.map. And what we're going to do here, based on the post, is we're going to build a new version of this item. So we need to return, first of all, if the item.id is the same as ID, we need to return something new. So we're going to return a new object. And this object is going to be ID, is going to be item.id. Post is going to be item.post. Username is going to be item.username. And likes is going to be item.likes plus 1, because we're going to increase it by 1. And then, if not, we're just going to return item. Once we've done that, we just need to put the change post, call that, with the new state in. Then we're going to run it and see what happens. Okay, so we've got hello world, hello whatever. We haven't put the button in properly. Let's have a look at that first. The on click event should be on click. And we now fail to compile. Okay, there we go. So we've got a button with 3 clicks in and whatever. We click that, it goes up like that. Because what's happening is when you click this button, even though it's inside its own component, it's calling up into the app and passing through the ID. So then we can actually work on it in our app here and create our new state and then update it with the likes +1. That's a very brief introduction into how you might do state management using React very, very simply.